Oh, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Testosterone plays a significant role in regulating fat metabolism and distribution in the body. It also helps to reduce serious health risks down the line. I'm Manny with Rock's Discount Vitamins, and we carry the highest quality natural testosterone boosters on the market. It immediately provides you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improves your mood. With 11 San Antonio area locations, find us at rocksdiscountvitamins.com. That's rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God and you for all the support.
Hey, football fans, Michael Vick here. They say I transformed the quarterback position. The fastest ever, the strongest arm, the most rushing yards. They call me a game changer. I say BetUS.com changed the sports betting game. It started 30 years ago with the industry's biggest bonuses, and they haven't stopped. This football season, get a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Join me at BetUS Online Sportsbook and Casino, BetUS, where the game begins.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, we got football coming up at the bottom of the hour as the San Francisco 49ers take on the Seattle Seahawks. You can catch it right here on your home for Thursday Night Football, San Antonio Sports Star. Jets offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett has been demoted and stripped of play calling duties as passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach Todd Downing will assume those roles. And Quinn Ewers announced is back for the Red River rivalry.
If you smoke, take it outside. Get the facts at don'tpassgas.org.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint it.
That goal is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge. What's up, Danger?
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me, however you may be doing that, whether that is on 94.1 FM, if you're on sasportstar.com, listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you're watching on our YouTube page. Go to YouTube, do SA Sports Star, like, subscribe, follow along, set your notifications like Jacob Eric did, said notification went off, here I am, and there we go, in the bullpen, along with Fred Records. What's going on, guys? Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure. Be sure to comment along if you want, if you're in the YouTube chat, or if you feel like calling in, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 if you want to be a part of the show. Big game last night. San Antonio Spurs got the win as they beat Palo Banquero and the Orlando Magic 107-97. Got our first glimpse at CP3 and Wemby together on the court, and it looked pretty awesome as Jacob Toby, who joined the Blitz a little bit earlier today, and you can catch that interview in our audio player at sasportstar.com, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Well, he had the call on the first ever alley-oop from CP3 to Wemby.
Brought his Colorado Buffaloes to the second round of the NCAA tournament. Chris Paul to Wemby, the first one, puts a foul.
Was that nasty? You look at Mo Wagner, I mean, he's trying his best to take Wemby out of the play, and Victor just goes right over the top of him.
Right over the top of him, and it feels and seems simple. But as CP3 told us after the game, the lobs, not that simple.
It is more complex than that, and I think at the end of the day, everybody here, our first priority is to win games. And if the lives come and we win, so be it, but I think there is a lot more to it. And at times,
they're gonna happen just because he is who he is, you know. But fundamentally, I know that everybody here is trying to make the right play.
It's not his priority. His priority is winning, and you know, it looked good, especially for the rookie Stephon Castle, who had 17 points in the win for the Spurs as the 4th overall pick, already starting to look pretty good as game by goes. But earlier this morning on the Morning Huddle, Rob and AJ were talking about Wemby and how in the GM survey, over 77% of NBA executives would start a franchise with the French 7'4" guy.
If you were starting a franchise today and could sign any player in the NBA, who would it be? 77% said Victor Wembanyama would be the guy they'd start a franchise with.
I'm curious.
77.
Who are the other 23%?
I'll be honest. I think I would take Luka.
What?
I really do. He's still 25 years old. He's been to a finals. And I still have this weird injury concern about Wemby long term. I mean, I'd certain like the other guys. So Luka only got 3% of the vote, so I'm clearly in a minority. The guys above, in between those two, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jokic got 10% each. I think Jokic is aged out of me wanting to start a franchise with him.
Yeah, I think he has.
And
although, dude, you'd be crazy if you didn't give it a lot of thought.
I mean, like you'd be playing a shorter game. Like you'd be playing how many can I win in the next 3 years versus the next 10?
I go back to the Shea thing. Yeah, I would build a team around him. Do I think he's going to be in the Jordan, Anthony Edwards genre of a two guard that carries a team? No, I don't think that's ever going to be. He's going to be Paul George. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I can see stardom in Wemby. I can see.
I do too. Certainly,
a guy that will lift and carry teams. I think when I think of Luka, I don't think Luka wants any help. You know, I think Luka wants to go win a title worse than anybody in the world, but he wants to do it alone. You know, I'll do it. Just give me the guys that will play with me.
That sounds like a guy named Michael Jordan.
Yes, I don't have a problem with that. But so far, there's only been Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe
Luka's not Michael Jordan.
Well, maybe he will eventually go get it on his own. I mean, he came damn close last year, but
Luka last year was the first time that I really said, okay, finally this guy's starting to live up to. I mean, it's never been a question of is this dude talented? He's a freak.
Yeah.
But last year it was like, okay, you can win with this. And I wasn't sure before last year you could. And now, again, Wemby's got more room to grow. He's about 5 years younger. But I know what Luka can do, and
Absolutely.
we still don't know. And you said it yourself last night when we were on press row. There's sometimes where Wemby still doesn't even know what he's doing with his body.
No.
And there's a couple plays he made where it's like, oh.
It's like watching a giraffe stand up.
Yeah, you hope in a
oh.
year or two that's gone, but you don't know. I mean, some guys just stay goofy.
Yeah, but you can see the fluidity in him. You can see it. There's guys that you can look at and you go, he'll never, ever be graceful. There's something graceful about him. And that might be the best term to use. That's both positive and negative. Sometimes we need more than grace. We need grit. And that, he is going to have to grow into that. But as far as starting a franchise, let's just take, for example, last night, that brief 5-minute flourish. That included a nice shot. There was a dunk. There was a no-look pass that encompassed everything that all the GMs go, well, yeah, did you see?
Yeah.
That was all 3 levels of the game. That was a downhill pass to the paint. That was a post-up, and that was the recipient of an alley-oop. And we could pepper in a couple of threes in there. There's nobody in the world that could do all of that in one game.
And Rob's right. There's nobody that can do all of that in one game. And he brings so much to the table. And I think there's a lot to be said about, how you win. And Wemby is willing to win in a multitude of ways. He just wants to win. And you saw last year, he realized he had to take that team on his shoulders. And at the end of last year, he did it. He put a team without Devin Vassell, without Keldon Johnson, without Jeremy Sohan, their top 3 players next to him. And he went and won some games down the stretch against teams like Denver, playoff teams that were fighting for seeding and not just seeding the number 1 overall seed. And what Wemby did kept them from that and probably kept Denver from a title in the process as well. Wemby was like 5-2 down the stretch. They played different because Wemby has the ability to put a team on his back and carry it. And man, I really like that. And Fred Records also has a good point. Wemby takes care of his body the same way LeBron does. I don't think that applies for Luka. And, I worry about his longevity as a player because of that, because he already doesn't have elite athleticism. He uses short game area quickness. And we saw with James Harden how quickly some of that can leave once you get over the age of 30. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star. A lot of you talking about want me to give some picks. I will give those away coming up for the NFL on who I've got in prime picks. And also, Stephen Jones joined the Blitz a little bit earlier today. We'll get into all that and then get you ready for Thursday Night Football coming up here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM and SASportsStar.com.
94.1 FM.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777, 800-230-2777, or biglou.com.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks, my daily fantasy game. In fact, mine and 10 million others are playing this every day because we know what we're doing. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money on your sports action. Join me and so many others playing every day. You know why? Prize Picks invented Flex Pay, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. Look, you know your sports. How many yards is CeeDee Lamb going to get this week? Is Jonathan Taylor going to get 85 or more? You know what you're doing. Go make your play. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which players aren't? You know you play fantasy football. Put your knowledge to work. And remember, use the code Alamo, and there's $50 in it for you. Download the app now. Use Alamo. Play with your friends. It's the best way to have fun and get yourself in the game. Remember, Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can add to big payouts. Download the app today. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, I'm releasing your Thursday Night Report absolutely free on a recorded message line. 1-800-244-5506. San Francisco at Seattle tonight is going to be a monster game, and I've got the side and total. San Francisco, Seattle, confirmed analysis and special props. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I'd love to sweep the board. Call now to hear them free on a recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. 1-800-244-5506. You want information? I've got it. San Francisco, Seattle, special props. That's 5 big plays, 5-0 the season free. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group. George Gets Justice. When you've been injured, you need to get George Salinas Injury Lawyers because you need someone who understands your pain and the impact an accident has on your life. You need someone who listens and is always there fighting for you and your future. When you get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, you get all this and more. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. And remember, you won't pay anything unless they win your case. Call George Salinas at 210-225-0909. George Gets Justice. GetGeorge.com.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Attention active duty military and veterans. This is an important message from Lakewood University. Lakewood University is now offering an online real estate management certificate program for active duty military members and veterans. Qualifying students can graduate with zero college debt using their GI Bill benefits. Real estate is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, just as big as healthcare and legal services. With Lakewood's real estate management certificate, you'll gain all the skills needed to succeed in real estate investing. Learn how to analyze markets, value assets, and raise capital through debt and equity financing. Lakewood University has teamed up with a real estate multimillionaire to bring you this special accredited online course. And as a qualifying service member, you can graduate debt-free. If you're active duty or a veteran looking for a rewarding career path, call Lakewood University today at 800-571-4889. That's 800-571-4889. Take the next step toward your future. Call 800-571-4889 or fundsformilitary.com.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com, and on YouTube. Search SA Sports Star. Like, subscribe, comment along. Like Wookie did. It says, watch Luka blow up in size and weight like Sean Kemp, who became Sean Blimp towards the end of his career. Although Joshua Jimenez thinks AJ has a point. Guards like Luka are hard to find. Great guard play so important in the NBA right now. And you're right. Wemby plays like a guard, though. So it's almost like marrying a center and a guard and having both of them at the same time, which is a unicorn prospect in and of itself. So, I mean, to each their own on how they best determined to build a team, a roster, a Super Bowl champion. And, you know, the Dallas Cowboys are trying to build their roster different than other teams around the league, as evidenced by what they did this offseason and building the Dallas Cowboys. Well, one of the architects of how the Cowboys are built, Stephen Jones, joined the Blitz earlier this afternoon to discuss the fact that the Cowboys got that big win in Pittsburgh, update some of the injuries, and what's up with Rico being the goal line back late in the game. Stephen Jones on the Blitz.
Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys as he joins us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Stephen, long injury report going into this game Sunday against Detroit. Can you give us an update on who you think might actually play that's kind of on the fence right now?
Well, I think Bland's got a good chance to get some plays. We'll see how he finishes the week. And then, you know, after that, and then Guyton's got a good chance to be ready to play. He's day-to-day. And then after that, though, it's probably a long shot for a lot of these guys to play.
Yeah, I would assume we saw Micah Parsons out on the field today working on the sideline. So the chances of him playing, Stephen, pretty slim at this point, you think?
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, I'd say they're pretty slim in terms of Micah being able to play. We hadn't ruled him out yet, but, you know, he's got a lot of work still to do.
Now, you
mentioned Guyton maybe. Watching the offensive line that played the entire second half and the way the Cowboys were able to run the ball, do you think that could be, at least in the near future, a permanent change and make Guyton kind of a swing tackle until he gets more of his feet wet as an NFL tackle?
No, not at all. I think we'll just get him, get him well. It could be that that's the case for this week if he's not 100%, but we'll continue to evaluate and see how we go.
Stephen, let's talk about your quarterback, because obviously the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys gets a lot of praise and certainly a lot of criticism. And Dak stumbled a little bit early in that game, but led that game-winning drive. That's got to make you feel pretty good about the way your quarterback responded.
Absolutely, he's just a seasoned pro. I mean, when you play in this league, if you play quarterback long enough, you're going to have some bumpy starts along the way. They all do, and the great ones are the ones that are resilient and they respond. And certainly Dak did that, and really got his feet back up under him and led us to a couple touchdowns there in the second half that were the difference in us winning the game.
And obviously CeeDee Lamb had a little blow up with Dak there on the sidelines. Not a lot of targets and only one catch in the second half. What do you as an organization do to make sure that CeeDee is able to stay involved through all four quarters?
Yeah, he started off quick, and we got him going early. I think he had 4 or 5 catches there in the first quarter. And then, of course, I think, they were responding to that, the fact that we were going to him early and often. And, it just left some guys wide open, as we saw. Tolbert was left with no one around him on several occasions. And certainly Ferguson and Turpin and all the guys got in the mix. But, that's one of the things about having a great player like CD. When he draws a lot of attention, it sure opens it up for the other guys. But at the same time, the goal still is to get CD his 10 to 12 targets if we can get that done.
Well, obviously, Stephen, when you look at this week, you've got a tough team coming in there. It's going to be a tough game Sunday afternoon there in Arlington. When you look at what Tolbert did, that can only help CD, because obviously everybody's going to target him and pay the most attention to him. Jalen Tolbert, that had to be encouraging to you guys to see him get off.
Absolutely. He's been coming from, he had a lot of developing to do when he first got to Dallas. And, when Brandon Cooks came in the building, he really took him under his wing, and a great mentor for him. Obviously, Brandon does everything the right way on and off the field, the way he trains, the way he, the way he gets his body ready to play pro football. And, I think Jalen's learned a lot from Brandon. And now with Brandon having a few challenges, then it's great to see Jalen step up and use that knowledge and really put it to work and step up in a big way. Of course, there at the end of the game, he, wasn't 100% on the last couple of plays, but still stepped up and made a great play to win the game for us.
Battling through a major injury there
exactly.
Late to get that game winner. Now, before he made that game-winning touchdown, the play before, Zeke, kind of the short yardage guy, not in. Rico fumbles. A two-part question. One, were you surprised that Zeke wasn't the running back on that goal line play? And when you saw that ball on the ground, what were you thinking up there in that suite?
Well, we never questioned, who Mike and Shotty want to put in the game, depending on plays. And so never questioned that. But certainly I took a deep breath when I saw that ball there. And then, of course, obviously frustrating there to go from being, second and a half yard and almost sure chance to win the game to going to, third and, almost 5, and certainly became a lot bigger challenge. But the good news is we pulled it off.
And hopefully get one this week against Detroit. Stephen, we know you're busy. Appreciate you jumping on with us this afternoon.
Thank you, guys. Great being on.
That was Stephen Jones joining the Blitz a little bit earlier today. You can catch it in the audio vault powered by AA Best Bail Bonds at sasportstar.com. A lot of people said you wanted to know what my picks were coming up for the week's games. Well, I can give them to you starting tonight. I like the 49ers. I do. getting healthy. Fred Warner's back tonight. Debo's potentially supposed to be back, I believe. So getting healthy is going to be very important for them. And plus, I can't see them staying winless in the NFC West and remaining competitive going forward. I like the Bears over the Jaguars. The Jaguars, I know they got a win last week against the Colts, but that was just two bad teams duking it out at the bottom of a division. Commanders, Ravens, surprisingly interesting game. I'm going to take the Ravens. That their defense, they're known for making things difficult for young quarterbacks. They did it to CJ Stroud twice last year, made his life a nightmare in both games, the first of the year and their last one of the year, bookended it. Packers over the Cardinals, even as well as the Cardinals are playing right now. I think Love and the Packers get back on track. Texans, Buccaneers, Eagles, Colts, Chargers, Steelers, Falcons, Lions. But I do think the Cowboys can win that. Bengals get back on track. And despite the drama, give me the Jets over the Bills on Monday Night Football. That's going to do it for Extra Innings with Pledge. We got Thursday Night Football presented by Fright by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. It's coming up right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow night right here on the Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Lisa, you have a comment for Gigi?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to tell you that you're correct. Men do say the stupidest things. Like my husband said, gee, you really eat nothing. I don't know why you're fat. And he doesn't think that that's